And we're back to Rime of the Frostmaiden, our newest addition to the Proficiency bonus lineup. Blah, 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 blah. I'm your compassionate, oh so loving DM, Sarah. And before we begin, I would like to thank some of our sponsors that have made our little show possible. Twitch, Streamlabs, OBS, Little Dragon Corp, and if you type in Little Dragon in chat for more information, I know that they're having some struggles with the second lockdown because they're in Canada and their storefront is closing, so they need some, throw your dice money their way if you're gonna buy dice, so do that for us. And, if you do, use the coupon code PROBONUS at checkout and you'll receive a 10% discount on your order. Also, our newest sponsors are Cardboard Castle. You can type in !CCG in chat for more information about them. They are local. They're local to someone we know. See, I'm not gonna tell anyone. I know, but I wasn't gonna tell them their location like I did last week.
Oh.
So.
Georgia.
Anyway, they have all sorts of tabletop and game-based cards for you to peruse. Card-based games. I can talk. We're just gonna dox everyone by the end of this game. Just like names, addresses, birth certificates printed out for you guys. Anyway.
It's Spooky Sunday, so it's perfect.
Just give me all the numbers on your credit card, the expiration date, and those 3 sexy numbers on the back.
Yes.
In any order.
So here's a recap from last week's episode. The adventurers found themselves in the town of East Haven, and after warming themselves over the remains of a wizard who had burned to death, the characters found themselves charged with finding 4 missing fishermen. In a tavern they visited called the Wet Trout, they received information and the offer of some rowboats by the local ferryman. They went to check out the ferry that was stuck in ice, only to discover it was a base for some squatters. Anji managed to detect some illusion magic running away from them. On the boat, they found a map of the frozen part with an X near Kelvin's cairn. They also found a paper with a single word on it, which interested Kavik. Chardolin. That night, Angie and Evander had a tete-a-tete, in separate rooms, but shared some conversation. In the inn, Gray received a visit from a ghost after some self-reflection. Firewall comforted him as best as she could, sort of by standing guard, like a creepy nightlight. And Kavik went slightly mad for a little while there, getting boisterous and drunk. In the morning, they decided to set out on the actual quest of finding the fishermen, despite their poor time management. Yeah. And so it goes. Players.
Time
management. We were being considerate of what we perceived Gray's feelings to be.
Oh wait, the players can't see the map. Hold on.
And it's just unfortunate that night and night sound exactly the same.
Oh, and Andre, you have the D20 for this game.
Yeah, you have the natural 20. Yeah, clarification from yesterday. When he said, boats at night, nights don't. Not night as in day and night. Night as in a dude in heavy armor that would sink to the bottom of a frozen lake.
A Knigget, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's on you, not on us. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I edit the map on screen.
You know, that's my bad. That's on me. You're right. I'll work on
How
that.
very Gray of you to say.
Gray area.
How many shades of gray do you think Gray has, Sir Gray?
12.
1.
4. I'm not entertaining this joke.
69.
There you go.
Nice.
So are we down at the boats? Where did we
We're
left?
at the ferry.
We're at the ferry again, and I think we're going to go out on the boats properly
I was
today.
shipping you all. You were down here.
All right, well,
Yeah,
we're ready to set
We got the
off.
skis
Does
made.
anyone have a bottle of wine or something to christen this vessel.
Oh yeah, did you name it?
No, but
Okay.
We're
I'm the
we'll come up
narrator.
with a name as we do it.
I take a small handful of snow and I just throw it at the side of the boat. Let's go.
no, I don't know if that had the same auditory effect he was looking for, but
I
does
jump
it
in the
work for
boat.
you, Havoc? Okay.
Okay.
Or rather,
Uh,
the ski boat.
boat ski.
Are we taking both? Are we going to split up into the two boats? Because I don't know if we all can
I
fit.
believe they're
The boats
together.
The boats are joined together.
Yeah.
With a brace connecting the two. That will distribute our weight more evenly across the runners, and that way the ice will be able to hold us for as long as possible. Everyone get in the boats. Gray, if you can help me to push it off, and then we'll jump in and we'll use these long poles to keep pushing us on.
All
All
right.
right. Who's gonna row?
I'll row.
We'll need
I'll
two
row.
rowers. Okay. Give me athletics checks.
Looks at all y'all with.
One of us give me a survival check, and the other two give me perception checks. How about that? Just for fun.
Is that for the
All
people
right.
who are not rowing?
Yeah, for the people not rowing, one person
Okay.
give me a survival, two give me
I
a
got
perception.
my rowing number.
Okay.
I can do one of the
Row,
perception
row your boat
checks.
Okay.
I'll do the
over
other
all the ice.
because I'm terrible at survival.
That means
Okay.
that Evander is survival.
Evander, you're on survival.
That is a 17 for me.
17.
That's a
Oh.
one.
Rowing.
Okay. What did you roll? Gray?
24.
24. Okay, a 1. And what did you roll for perception, please?
I got a 23 for
Nice.
perception.
Give me just 1 second.
Sure.
If I row stronger than Kavik, it's gonna be like we're just gonna go in a circle.
I was gonna say that. It doesn't matter what your perception check is, really, because with Evander's failing of noticing anything about his surroundings, you take a mighty heave off the dock with your two muscular forms, and you row in a circle.
How soon would
So,
I
like-
be able to tell that we were rowing in a circle?
Like 15 minutes of rowing in a circle. You're
That's a
like,
wide-
Who is rowing harder, or
I believe Gray is rowing harder.
and is it just terrible? Like, is Kavak doing a terrible job, or is it just Gray
No,
that's so
it's
much
just,
better?
Gray is just a little better. So much better.
All right. Am I in the same boat as Gray?
Yes, we'll say you are.
I would stand up, balancing precariously in this very swiftly moving boat, and walk back to him, or scooch. I'm not sure how big this thing is, and just sort of tap him on the shoulder, and then point over to Kavik, and then point back to your oar, and just
We'll go a little bit lighter on it.
and then I make a circle motion in the air.
Okay.
So he won't row weaker. He'll row like he won't do as many rows, so he slows down a bit so that
Okay.
it kind of putters us more in a forward motion.
Alright, so after you figure that out, you do start going in a forward motion. Even though you don't know where you are going, per se. You're going forward.
No idea.
And sooner or later, what was that perception check, Anji? Did you finish it by any chance?
Oh, yes, it was a 5.
Okay.
So,
It was a
I-
5 and a 23.
Again, Farewell seems to be on point as she points out that there are some 4 rowboat bobs untethered in the water amid some small ice floes not far from the 80-foot high cliffs that abut the shoreline. The mouths of 4 caves. 4 4 caves dot the snowy cliffside. One of these caves is at water level, and the others are elevated 20 to 30 feet above the frozen lake. The wind tearing through these caves sounds like moaning. So I'm going to move you all to a different map.
We've come upon the Moaning Mountain cave holes.
And are we progressing along the left side of the shore or the right?
We're going to say the right.
Okay.
So, can you guys see yourself?
Nope.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I cannot. But I think it may be
You-
because I don't have dark
You
vision.
don't have dark vision.
I cannot.
Ooh.
Yes, I cannot see. Okay, great.
Me neither.
Yeah. So hey, dark vision is working.
Evander will look around and hopefully pick up that his friends cannot see. And
So, are we inside these caves all of a sudden?
No, you're making a... If you got out of the boat, that's where you'd be on the map.
Okay.
But,
And what kind of ground is it at the base of these caves? Is it ice? Is it actual ground?
ice.
All right. So I would start digging out rope to somehow tie this boat off.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so that it doesn't skate away.
Give me a dexterity or give me a dexterity check. That sounds good. I do that for mine not tying for being a sailor, so that makes sense.
So is there something to tie it onto? I'm assuming there's a rock or
there's
something.
like a rock.
Yeah? Okay.
Out.
Yeah, I got a 12.
Okay.
So probably just put the rock on top of the rope.
Gotcha. Fine by me. Okay. So.
Instead of tying, you just pick up a heavy boulder and just set it on top of the rope.
Can't believe we have a party that's majority not dark vision.
I know.
I don't like that.
Give me
Gary.
anyone that can.
Give me my
give
drift
me
globe back.
a survival check.
Survival. Okay.
Anyone that can?
That wants to.
Ah. Wait, what's left?
I guess I'll pass. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, I got a
It's
13. Not great.
It is a 12.
Okay.
5 again. I imagine Evander is just sitting in the boat with his legs up, and he's just picking at his toes with his fingers.
Natural 20 over here for a
Good
24.
Good job. That's gross. Okay. Well, as that happens, you notice that there are some tracks in the ice leading from the boat to the southernmost cave. So the one down.
Well, I can't.
I know. Hold on. We'll give you temporary, because you're outside the cave technically.
That's fair.
Sorry about that. I didn't think of that point.
No, that's fair. I mean, while you do that,
Yes.
Gray will be like, hey, there's some tracks over here. I'm trying to remember what my voice is. Tracks over here.
Do they look human, or I guess? Do we know what type of creatures we're supposed to find?
Well, I
When
believe
did these boats belong to the people that we're looking for?
these
Can I
are-
look
these are
inside
like-
the boats?
these are like boot prints.
Yeah.
Look like boot prints, so humanoid, something that wears boots.
Does
If I
anyone
just
remember?
Poke around these boats that we've found that are
Yeah.
kind of tipped over here.
Someone
Are there-
give me an intelligence check.
Okay.
Ooh.
Go for it, on.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
go for it, Kevin. Go
And
for
then
it.
I'm in the intelligentsia.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
I'm glad you did it. Ooh boy.
You would remember that the boat that was mentioned was called the Bunch of Knuckleheads that went missing, and cause they're knuckleheaded trout in the bunch. Anyway, bunch of knuckleheads. Anyway, so you would see on the boat that was there. The faded words, bunch of knuckleheads.
So like we found like an abandoned boat.
Yeah,
You found it is the same ship that went
missing.
missing. It is the correct boat.
And we have footprints leading into a cave.
The
Yeah.
southernmost cave.
This one down here.
Southernmost.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, that one's water level. The other ones are 20, 30, and 30 feet respectively up from your height.
But the ice continues on into the cave, is what
Yes.
you're saying.
Yes.
How wide is this cave entrance? Like, are we gonna have to walk, or can we take the double rowboat?
You can't take the double rowboat. It's only about
Yeah,
10
too wide.
7 to 10 feet.
All right. Why don't we continue on foot as best we can? We light some torches
Now,
for those of you who can't see.
as you scan the cliffs, you notice that you could climb up the other ones if you wanted to. They do have holdings, like easy enough holdings, for you to kind of, what are they called, Nate?
Footholds.
Okay.
Hmm?
Bouldering.
Sorry.
It looks like you could boulder up it, whatever Nate does. For fun.
Are there some crevices, some jugs,
crimps?
some crimps,
Some crimps.
something to shove my fist into?
Oh, crimp with you, sweetie.
On
Oh dear. Alright, so you're gonna light a torch?
Yes, I will
yes.
as well for my other non-dark vision friends.
if we don't want fire, perhaps. And Evander's gonna reach up to his temple and just. It looks like he's plucking like a long strand of like milky white fluid from his head. He's gonna roll it up into a ball, walk over to Gray, and put it on top of his helmet, and it's gonna pulse with light gently as he casts the light cantrip on Gray's
That's
helmet.
That is the coolest description of the light cantrip I've ever heard.
That is true. But it's
Little
good.
do you know, Evander just gave up his happiest memory in order to be able to do that.
It was watching the guy burn. That was his happiest moment.
Yeah.
If you look, it's like an Inside Out. If you look really close into the bead, you can see the reflection of like his childhood
wizard
stuffed
on fire.
animal getting burned in the house fire.
I
Oh,
forgot
don't
that
worry.
I also have a light thing.
No such stuffed animals.
I was thinking of the like elephant guy in Inside Out that everyone cried about.
Oh, the freaks my heart
Bing
every time
bong.
I would bing bong, bing bong,
It's
Bing bong. That's what it
bing
it's-
bong, bing
it's
bong.
Bing Bong.
Makes me so
Not a shame.
sad. Take your to the stars for
I
me.
also have a light thing, something called magical tinkering. I can touch a tiny non-magical object, and it can either do like a light, a sound message, an odor or sound, or a little hologram, or 25 words of text.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna grab a rock and quickly take out my wand and inscribe a couple of runes on it, and boom,
Okay.
here we go, instant light source.
Okay. Can everyone see now on the map, or is there someone without vision? Because I tried to.
I think we should all, as long as we stay close together.
I cannot see anything.
Oh, okay.
I still
thought-
cannot see.
Alright, I thought I put that on for you. I tried to.
But
I'm glad you didn't-
but you'll be within the light that other people are generating, or Kavik could hand that stone to somebody.
Okay,
So
I can make it
Kavik and I are
emit
the only
break
ones
point.
who have dark vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you essentially put a pulsing light on my head, so I basically have vision out to, how far does light go?
20 feet, I
I'll
want to
give
say.
you 60.
I thought it was
20
20
bright,
and
20
20?
dim.
Yeah.
So
That's
40.
5.
Yeah. It's bright light for 20 and then dim light for an additional 20.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
gonna-
Gray has 40.
Gray, can you see?
Still not.
Okay, I need to figure out what I do with the other ones. them see. I gave them 60. I did this beforehand. I actually planned beforehand and did stuff. And now I can't remember what I did to give you that.
Thank you, Evander. That's gonna be helpful. He like the helmet keeps on like tilting up as if he can like as if it's above him, but it's connected to the helmet, so he kind of does that for a bit until he's like, it's attached to my head.
Okay, I'm gonna delete you guys. And then give you...
I wish.
Put farewell here.
I wish I learned that one. It would help me.
Does anyone need this rock?
I think one of these two.
Farewell, can you see?
I don't think so.
Here, I'll shift ping you all up here.
I'm surprised
I'll
I
give
can
my
Yeah, no,
rock
it's
to-
still dark there.
I'll give the rock to Anji.
Oh, sure, thank you. I can see a bit, but years outside of the mountain have caused my eyes to grow quite weak.
Here, let me see if I can at least emit light from Anji.
I was wondering about that. But I guess that would make sense, huh?
It's sun damage.
Sun
Dangerous
off the
thing,
snow.
that.
The sun off the snow can be really bright.
You know, if only there was
it-
some way that we could have some kind of vision filter. That way we'd be able to look at bright things. Oh, that's a grand idea. Let me write that
like
down.
something that perhaps like you'd walk into a dark space and it is relatively normal, and then you walk into a light space and it kind of adjusts
I can see.
with the brightness outside.
That's a great idea.
I got it.
Oh wow, this is a big map.
I'll get right on that.
Guys, this is a big map. Oh, look at all of our
yeah, it's a big map. I can
look
see
at
now.
look at all of our little icons, guys.
We're so tiny.
Look at all of our little art.
I'm just gonna give you dark vision, Anji, just for this map.
Okay, thank you.
Since you are specifically saying that,
Alright.
Oh wait, no, that's
Well.
farewell. Who'd I give that to? Oops, I gave farewell the wrong token. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
Farewell.
All right. With the lighting good. The tracks go to the cave to the south. That also means we wouldn't have to climb. Does that sound like a good place to start?
Sure.
I think so.
How should we proceed? Who should perhaps guide the way? Anyone feeling brave? Scary caves and all?
I mean, I can handle it. I can go in first if you want me to take a look. Now that I've got any kind of like ding ding, his gauntlet against his helmet.
I should say, be warned. There's many things that hide in caves which want to kill you.
Yeah, well, I want to kill him too. And he'll start marching down towards the cave.
Okay.
All right, all of you.
Do you guys have control of your tokens?
I do.
Okay, good.
Oh, I've got to zoom in 5 times to be able to see which one's mine.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't have to keep track of spell slots this time, y'all.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it nice?
I do.
Nice, isn't it? So nice.
Yes, I do have control of my character.
Okay. Alright, cool.
So which one is the one at ground level, or are these two right in front of us the same thing?
Nope.
It's
Those
the
are the
far
ones above.
south
This
one.
one down, yeah,
Oh,
down
okay.
here.
You see, it's got like a
Gray,
gradient.
yeah.
So
I see.
Gray won't turn the corner. He'll wait here for everybody to be ready.
Okay.
All right. We're just gonna see if we can find these people and take them home. Stay close.
Right.
He will take his shield out. He always takes his shield out, but he doesn't ever draw a weapon if he doesn't really feel like we're actively in combat. So I don't think he's ever drawn a weapon yet. So
I'll go ahead and take out my crossbow.
Okay.
I'm making my AC this. All right.
I'll go second.
What order do we want to go in? We can go two. It's wide enough that we can go 2 by 2, or we can keep it single file.
Well,
I would be
go
near
in the middle
front.
of the pack.
Front, probably.
All right. Then you'll probably want to come in next.
Do you want to go second or do you want to go third?
Probably be right behind or next to Gray.
All right.
All right, I'll go third then.
Yeah, you can walk next to me. All right. Miss Anji, Vander, you hold up the rear.
Very acceptable. Keep our eyes open.
All right. I will go in. I will move slowly so that if you need to stop us, Sarah.
Okay. You can go a little faster than that if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Because I also want just to make sure that everyone keeps up.
Yeah.
So what he's gonna do is he's gonna stick to the right-hand wall, and so he has his shield out and he keeps his hand against the wall so that
Okay.
he can keep track of if he turns or not.
All right.
As we go, Evander's just scanning the ceiling, making sure there's nothing above us. Wait.
A
Kill
lot
us.
of icicles, and the ceilings are 50 feet high. So very high ceilings.
Does it echo in here when we get
Yes.
into the cave?
Yes.
All right. So
So Ash, I think you
Sneaky.
can see that, Gray, that there is a waterfall up here.
yes, I can. Okay.
So as you get closer, you find a small, frozen over icicle laden waterfall.
All right.
It is 10 feet tall though, and very sheer, made of ice.
Is it dropping off from where we're from, or is it
It's going up.
okay? So it would have been coming down and draining
Yes.
out of the cave.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to climb up this.
Yes.
Gray will go up to it. He's pretty tall. He could probably just give people some kip ups.
Okay. If everyone, give me one second. If everyone wants to make me a, athletics check with advantage since Gray is helping you up.
Yeah, I'll help each of.
Yeah,
you.
and
Oh,
if
perfect.
I was
Much
up, then I
appreciated.
would help pull people up as
Okay.
well.
With advantage, that gives me a natural 20.
Nice. You get up there.
19
I get up
minus
there. I'm just
17.
I've got my crossbow ready and just kind of scanning,
I got a
keeping an eye out.
21.
21, 17, and
I had a 13.
alright. And Gray, you can roll with
Alright.
advantage too since Farewell will be helping you up.
Awesome. Wow, that's fun for a long time. Dirty 20.
Nice. So I'll make it up the waterfall with relatively no problems.
All right. A little bit of teamwork, little bit of muscle. Looks like
Makes
we've
the
got
dream
2
work.
paths.
Yes.
We've got a branching path.
Am I
Any
right
sign
in
of other
thinking that?
tracks?
Am I right in thinking that one is still ice and the other leads into stone?
Very icy stone. Everything in this cave is
Icy
covered
stone.
with ice. So even though it is
Right.
stone essentially, it's not a flowing river, but it is covered in ice. Very slippery in here.
You were asking. Anji asked if we can still find any tracks.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you can give me a check, but I'll still say no.
No, yeah.
Okay, sounds
Can't
good.
you can't leave a footprint on ice.
I don't know, spiky boots.
You could scuff it.
I guess you could, but the DM says that we cannot continue to find the tracks. So
Go on, Dave. Get that nat 20. Show her what's up.
Here we go.
Yeah, you can try to persuade me.
we can figure this out.
I
We can
cast
figure
Charm Person on the DM. Thank
Oh.
you.
Ooh.
this.
Your friends.
I've been
Probably
keeping
friends. Sorry.
I've been keeping myself on the right side, so I would
Mhm.
say at least check the right turn, and then we could come if it's a dead end, come back to the river. But what do you all think?
Can we hear anything in
But we should
here?
at least see what it looks like in there.
That's a good
If
question.
you can hear anything, give me one.
Yeah, what
second.
I mean, can I hear anything? It's actually
You did.
what I should
You
guess.
did say that there is echoing sounds, so perhaps we can hear. If we're quiet, perhaps we can hear sounds that are not us.
That's true.
Okay,
Awesome.
give me 1 second. I don't.
Gosh, did we like get good at this game between campaigns or something?
Maybe.
You do not hear anything.
Maybe it's because I'm actually playing someone who uses their intelligence instead of someone who just like says, "I punch."
So no like dripping water, no
Well, dripping
running
water.
water.
I thought
No.
you meant like unnatural sounds.
Okay.
Like
but-
anything, like nothing beyond the ambient cave noise.
Right, yeah.
Minecraft
Okay.
cave noises.
I hate caves. This is Jim.
There, peering
Jim hates
down
caves.
that hallway, do I see anything of note, or is it just a path that turns?
It's just a path that turns. So far.
All right. Well, I said let's check it out. Maybe use a bit of caution, but it would be a shame if we missed them just because we decided to skip it.
All right. See if it's a dead end or not. The river, water would run through stone over the years, so I'm guessing the river will continue on for a while, so we can check any of the beaten path.
And if there are any survivors, I wouldn't want to set up on Frozen River.
What did I do? Give me a second. And make a marker.
All right. Yep, I think we are forming one.
Evander got excited to be back in caves, so he's
Come more up to the front.
Why isn't this working for me? Is it on that one?
Anders, lead the church.
Looks like it might.
Cave happy.
Yeah, because I'm trying to keep track of so let's see, I would have 40 feet. So.
Yeah, if
Evander's only
you all
would see.
if you all look at Evander, he's almost getting giddy. He's definitely almost relaxed a little bit from how he normally is, and he's got a big smile on his face.
That's almost more scary than
I was gonna say, is it does Nate feel like Evander's smile is comforting?
He's smiling.
It's sincere.
You know how with a potato, this goes on, but with a potato you can cut it and it'll eventually bruise around where you cut it. Just feel like when you crinkle all that skin, it's just
Okay. So you have
Not
an order.
Yeah, I mean, if Evander starts getting excited, I think it would make sense that you would take the lead now.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
follow
And
close.
I'll go second to last.
And so these on the map, these aren't stairs, are they?
They are not big wide stairs that go up.
Do they look man-made?
Good question. Crudely carved stairs. They're crudely carved.
So this isn't natural. Someone at some point in time could have used these as stairs. Could be potentially a good place for a hideout of some sort.
Could mean someone's living in here.
I doubt it's our fisherman, to be frank.
Perhaps it's whoever or whatever took the fisherman.
Better, more unnerving point.
Just be careful, Evander.
Oh,
And there
good
you go. Everyone roll initiative.
I said be
Whoa.
careful!
Click on
Hey,
your
so
token.
Anji,
Click
there's
on your
something.
token.
Yeah. Oh, there's. What is it?
And roll your initiative.
Well, how about I put it this way? You know how our tokens are this big? This is about
Yes.
this big.
Jim, yeah, roll real dice and then put it in manually.
Yeah.
Please.
12 plus
Oh, no.
2 is 14.
Alright, I'm gonna roll it. Actually, this thing is gonna do this.
I forgot.
I made my
I can-
initiative correct in this, so 23 is correct.
There's my initiative. I forgot that I can.
Oh, y'all!
I forgot that I can do that in D&D Beyond.
I guess I will be. Oh boy.
Alright. And let's turn on some battle
See-
music.
Yeah, so. I mean, Dave, you don't need to. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine.
Okay,
We're all
should I
fine
just stay
here.
out here?
Okay. So,
Alright, sounds good.
who is first? Gray. I don't know what you can see on the map, but you see Evander stop
Oh, I can see.
in their tracks.
Yeah.
And you notice a frost giant skeleton stuck in the ice. It looks
Okay.
at you. And it's dead cold up. Skeleton sockets.
It's like
All right.
you almost said eyes.
Yes.
Gray will make a motion, like he'll put his hand on Evander's
that's
shoulder
pretty
and
loud.
then like move it in front of his chest to kind of be like, can I get in front of you? Is that okay?
He'll like sweep his arm in front and allow you to go.
Okay. So Gray will move. I know that we've rolled initiative, but I will move ahead to here for 10 feet of movement.
Okay.
Evander's such a gentleman.
Is the skeleton moving or acting in a way that is it animated?
It is trying to tug its one arm out of the ice. As it moves at you with a great axe in his other hand.
All right. So Gray has his shield up, so he's going to call back. He's going to say, "We've got some trouble," and he's going to move another 5, 10. He'll stop here.
Okay.
And he will take that new fancy runed up hand axe that Kavik has taken a little looks at, and with his shield up, he's going to throw the hand axe at the not iced up arm that's holding the battle axe.
Alright, give me one. Is this a hand axe?
It is a hand axe of returning, so I believe it's
Okay.
magical now.
It is
Yes,
magical.
it
It's
is
also got
magical.
+1, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And you have proficiency. It's a simple melee weapon. Okay. Roll.
I am proficient with all weapons.
Gotcha. Good to know. Can you give me a? I can't tell whether that's dexterity or not.
Throwing a hand axe is strength. I have it all set up on D&D Beyond. I can just
Okay,
make the
thank
attack.
you. Oh, it says martial light thrown melee. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Go for it.
He throws the hand axe for a 22 to hit.
That does hit.
Alrighty. He basically takes it, gives it like a little toss to get holding it at the bottom of the handle, and he throws it, and it kind of spins around like a boomerang and cleaves into the skeleton's arm, and then seems to ricochet off of it, and he catches it.
Okay.
It deals 7 magical slashing damage.
Nice.
And I feel like after the impact, there's like maybe a little bit of a glow. It's almost like there's a tether or a leash, and he kind of yanks it as it, and he catches it back in his hand.
Okay, cool. Looks like ya gave it a paper cut.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. Alright, so next up is Farewell. Farewell, you don't see anything yet, I don't believe, from your vantage, but you know that Gray just took some steps up and threw his hand axe at something.
And he yelled, "We got trouble."
Yeah,
Right.
he got something.
So I'm going to move up, just sort of squish around Evander. Make my way up there, taking the sight of this gigantic thing trying to free itself from the ice. And I'm just gonna ready my crossbow, but I'm not going to shoot at it. I'm just going to observe. And if it does free itself, I'm going to shoot it. But at the moment, I'm not.
Okay. Alright, so that brings us to Anji.
Alright, she hears Gray yell, "We've got trouble," and is going to move her full 30 feet to hug this corner, see the beast, and ask Gray, first of all, your hand axe, was it effective?
Didn't look much. Well, or maybe it did. It did.
Well,
But
I mean,
I don't know.
that's slashing, right?
Magical slashing?
Good, okay.
This is alright.
Of course it
I mean-
did.
I mean, he would probably say, "It looks like it's still got some fight in it left," as almost a little bit of a joke.
Sure, so like almost like a sweep of the shimmers from the ice on the floor kind of dust up into her hand, and she fires it off at this frost giant, shooting an eldritch blast to see if maybe magic will do a little bit extra.
Your first Eldritch Blast! Oh.
For a 19 to hit.
Not gonna hit.
Oh, I'm just so happy to see, like, yeah, Warlock stuff! Warlock!
Warlock stuff! And it is going to do, plus my Eldritch Invocation.
Oh, did you get Agonizing Blast?
I did, of course! 9 points of damage. 9 points of force.
9 points for 7. Okay.
Varian never
Straight
took
at the
it.
rib cage.
Varian never took Agonizing Blast.
Very.
He didn't
Why?
blast. He didn't blast a lot. He used the crossbow.
Right.
So proud of you.
Anything else?
No, I just want to stick sort of towards the corner of the wall in case this thing decides to break out, but I've got my eyes on it.
Okay, then we have Havoc up next.
Speaking of crossbow, I'm gonna come up here. Look at this wee beastie, and I'm going to shoot it with my crossbow.
Okay.
So that's a 22
Yes, that'll
to
hit.
hit
For 6 points
for
of piercing.
6.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for now. I'm going to reload my crossbow, and that's it.
Okay, cool. So you hit it with the crossbow, and then we have Evander bring up the last of the party.
I would like to move over so that I'm not next to everyone else. And Evander's going to reach to the other side of his head,
Okay.
pull out a long strand that elongates, this time red in color, ball that up, give it a little flick, and he's going to firebolt this frost skeleton.
Gotcha.
So cool.
That's a 12.
Unfortunately,
Or sorry, 13.
Let me see, 13. Unfortunately, that would just miss.
Still getting used to it.
Oh. Okay. And for the frost giant skeleton's turn, he will spend his entire turn trying to free his one arm from the ice. And he wrenches his shoulder forward and can't seem to get free. So it returns to Gray.
All right. Gray is going to put the hand axe into his belt, and as he charges up into melee, 5, 10, 15, he reaches into what seemed to have been something that was hooked around the back of his belt. So it's been covered by the bear cloak, so I don't think anyone has seen it. He pulls out what looks to be a little rod, but then a long chain falls down onto the ice, and at the end of it is a flanged, spiked ball of a flail. And as he comes up, he does a little bit of an underhanded swing, and then, like a dad casting a fishing line, he's going to crack his flail down onto the top of the skeleton's rib cage. Probably can't reach its head. So I will make an attack with my flail. You don't see those too often in D&D.
No, what type of weapon is that?
It is a melee weapon. It deals bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
I rolled a 24 to hit.
24 to hit. That will definitely hit. Give me one.
Alrighty. So this one rolled a little low on damage, but that's okay. He's going to crunch down for 6 bludgeoning damage this time.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Try and crunch those bones.
That's
probably better than cut.
Very, very effective against it.
Yeah. War guy, armor and bones, you want to crush it.
So, very good turn. Take your
So
flail and you slam it down on
slams
the
it onto
shoulder.
the rib cage.
Yeah, shoulder, rib cage, whatever. We'll agree to disagree.
Bones! Hit all the bones!
There! You just go across the chest.
And then
area.
he pulls it back, and the ball seems to skid along the ice and kind of kicks up a few ice spray as the chain kind of dangles behind him as he holds his shield up to get ready to block its attack.
Cool. Alright. Farewell. It is your turn.
All right. After observing a little bit of the skeleton and the attacks, they're going to decide crossbow is probably not the best option for this. And so it's going to put the crossbow back on their back as they run up right up to it next to Gray. And is going to do 2 unarmed strikes.
Sure. Are they magical bludgeoning? I just want to know.
Not yet.
Okay.
But they are bludgeoning.
Okay.
Your babies.
Cool.
Yep. That is a 14 and an 18.
They will both hit.
Ooh.
The 14 will just hit. Yep.
That is a total of 12 bludgeoning damage between both of them.
Nice.
And then doubled, right? You didn't double yet?
No,
Okay.
I don't. That's both together.
Okay, cool. Wow, so you run up and go, wham! Wham! And even Gray looks a little shocked, like, okay, dude. But,
Yeah, because he thought you were a crossbow kind of person. You just come
Yeah.
up and you start crunching this thing in the face.
Yeah, it's
gotcha.
very, very precise, not just a bar fight type of swing. Seeming to be trying to aim for specific points.
Everybody, gotcha. Very cool.
Good hits.
And then we have Anji.
How is the ice around this skeleton's arm looking?
Like it's cracking.
All right. Once again, those sort of shivers off the ground kind of swirl up, but instead of centering around her hand, they kind of swirl around her face. And after, like, taking a peek to see sort of if anyone's looking, the shape of her jowls becomes blurred as her jaw unhinges. Another blast of force erupts that's, like, twisted with this black ichor as she casts Hex as a bonus action and Eldritch Force at the same time. Hex has a little note that says I can give this thing disadvantage on a particular ability check, so
Nice.
I kind of wanted to dunce it on strength.
Nice.
And that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yes!
Dave.
What?
Go, Dave.
Like getting to see you use your abilities, and I'm like,
And I got a nat 25.
yes! You're gonna,
Dave.
you're gonna double the hex damage too!
Nice.
Dave,
Nice.
you're doing it, my man.
That's awesome.
Okay, so it's with my Eldritch, it's 17 force damage. I've launched this blast like straight at its throat, and that black ichor that's like contained within the shimmers like shoots out in this almost like bone rot-esque shape where the veins might have been where this creature flesh, and shimmers into its arm where it's trying to rip itself free.
And as
Oh.
it shimmers into the arm, you see the entire thing go lifeless. As the energy you just flew through it goes
Worth it.
dull. As the head lolls to the side.
Miss Anji, was that you?
Yes, I suppose in a way. I thought that would be a little bit tougher than that. Do you suppose there are more of that in here?
I don't know.
I mean,
What's
if
with
there
your jaw?
are,
I didn't see.
Give me, anyone can give me a perception check now that you're out of combat. And you're in this room.
Hell. All you
That's
young
what
blood
we
with your
thought.
magic.
17.
It's the hip new thing.
That's a 21.
Natural 20 for 24. I'm too excited. Done like 19s and 20s today.
Nobody say anything.
Alright. So, as this frost giant goes limp, you can see behind it is a massive pile of bones.
Ooh,
Just,
I'm gonna check out these
Bones.
bones.
you
Careful.
see knucklehead trout spines, humanoid skeletons in pieces, and bones of small animals and birds, along with scraps of clothing and armor, and a few rusty weapons. And moonlight.
Are any of these remains recent, or have they been here for a while?
Who got over a 15 in perception? Okay. You notice that there are very fresh remains, maybe within the past week or so. They're the freshest.
Could possibly
bones
be our missing
littered on the
fisherman.
floor with some scraps of leather pretty much by it.
Hard to say.
If those are our fishermen, then I have a couple questions. Namely, why are they skeletons? Because a skeleton, as far as I'm aware, doesn't need to eat anything.
And
True.
I point up to the arm trapped in the ice, like,
Perhaps this is not so much a feeding place for the skeleton. Perhaps it's more of like a larder where someone was keeping the food here and the skeleton is guarding the larder.
Then we should probably still keep on our toes.
Right, let's go find
Did we get
the
a single
dinner table.
description or identifying factor besides the boat of the fishermen that we're looking for?
Did we get that they were humans? Am I just making that up? I think they're
I
just
think
humans.
that's about all we got.
There's 4 human fishermen.
Is this because the arm that was encased in ice was holding like an axe? Is that, or I believe so? No, its other hand had an axe. Is that axe like sized for a giant? Is that not something? Okay. No big axe for me. I don't think so. I think that one's just a little bit out of my purview. Darn. All right. Well. Yeah.
All right, I say we keep on moving forward then.
Skeletons don't just raise themselves, so yeah. I think there's still another path. We can continue on if everyone's ready to go.
Is everyone all right? No one hurt?
I don't believe any of us were hit.
I'm just asking because it's not so much for emotional reasons, it's more of functional reasons. We cannot continue if someone's hurt.
Oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off as if obviously no one was hurt. I just meant from what I observed, I didn't see anyone get hit necessarily.
All right then, on we go.
Yeah, farewell. That was pretty impressive work. Is that... You want to fight more up close? I thought you were kind of more of a crossbow type.
I point to the longsword on my back, just shrug.
Oh, fair, but you didn't use that. So...
Everyone give me a perception check.
Maybe you're just full of surprises. Perception check?
Yes, please.
That's another
15.
big 12 for your girl.
Low on this one. 10.
22.
Nice.
5.
Okay.
You're like checking to see if your sword is still there.
Okay. Kevin?
I'm like
that
rolling
was
up
a
my
15.
15? Man, Evander, you smell something mouth-wateringly good. Mouth-wateringly good. Wafting from your east. Your right.
Does somebody smell that? Smells like
What?
food.
Could anyone else smell it?
Not yet.
These nostrils aren't as good as they used to be, I guess.
It's the most delicious smell you've ever smelled for food.
It is the most delicious smell I've ever smelled for food. It seems like a passage. It's hard to get a good meal in a cave. At least I was never fed one.
So far, the only things that we know that may have been eaten here are trout and people. So,
No,
be a
wait,
little careful.
hold on. You know what? Maybe actually Gray's right. But we're gonna put a pin in what you just said, Evander, because that was very dark. And we'll get into it. But which way was it? It might actually very much support Kavik's larder theory.
It is hard to get food in the cave.
I shrug and start walking forward slowly, waiting for them to catch up. But like, this
Shall
is
we
not
put
interesting.
I'll go along.
more caution
Yeah,
this
I'm
time?
curious about this food smell.
Well, farewell. It sounds like you're leading this time, so
Mhm.
take the head. We keep changing up the...
Yep. And
We're like
as-
cyclists. You know, someone keeps overtaking to be the windbreak for a little while.
And as you peek in, is anyone peeking in? Well, first you gotta go down these sets of stairs again, and then let me
Yeah,
know.
because I can see that there's just the frozen river straight ahead, right?
Yeah.
So it's obviously all right.
And then if you round the corner, you will go down a set of roughly hewn stairs as well.
Yeah, I like keeping with the stairs.
And about there, you see an old lady in front of a large cauldron, humming to herself as she cooks.
Jenny.
Jenny!
Jenny Blue Fingers!
I wish.
Jenny Blue Fingers.
No, it's Jilly. Jilly Bluefingers.
Jilly Blue Fingers!
She looks
Do you want
like-
some earwax? We will give it to... If you haven't seen Curse of Strahd, the previous campaign that we did on this, I'm sorry.
You
Watch
should.
it.
You should.
It's on YouTube.
Go.
It's all on YouTube.
Yep.
You're missing out.
You see this appear.
Oh.
She's
I mean, that-
beautiful.
Meow.
Guys, don't make any rash judgments. She could be cool.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Honestly, I've seen worse.
Has she seemed to sense our presence yet?
No, she's just kind of humming to herself, and she's mixing this huge cauldron of stew.
I vibe with the dancing ladies on her culture. Or like, oh, there's like a satyr. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a party.
Yeah.
Not particularly charmed by this smell. I'm just gonna start creeping forward just to see what else is in this room.
Are you trying to be stealthy?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's not very. I mean, there's light behind me, and there's,
Right.
from what I can see, there's nothing to hide behind in this room. So,
There's not really light behind you. There's light emitting from you as you hold lights.
oh well, there's light from. I don't have a light stone on me.
Oh, I thought that light was from you, but
No,
it's from
I
Angie.
have a light. I have a light,
Okay.
and Anji has a light.
Mhm.
And
So
Okay.
it's
Angie
fine.
has the
All right, I thought you had the rock. or
Angie
something.
has like the
Okay.
iPhone.
So in my mind, it's
iPhone.
not worth stealthing. Is
The
it?
iPhone
Is it?
flashlight.
We're coming down the stairs.
Gotcha. All right, so she'll notice you and go
Evander's gonna.
go for it. Go for it.
Never mind. It's already happened. It's all good.
She's
Oh.
gonna talk.
If
to you.
if she's already going, she's already going. That's it.
Okay. She's going to look up at you and say, "Oh, we had guests, do we, my dear?"
I'm just
This is
gonna
actually
look
good.
at her. I'm obviously not going to say anything. Look around the room. So I know there's an entrance to the north. Is there one to the south as well? I can't quite tell.
Not that you can make out.
Okay. I'm just going to start walking across the room to check out the northern entrance, as obviously this lady is not who we are looking for. At least I
Smells
don't think
great.
she's one of the fishermen. You never know.
Give me
No.
a perception check. And
They're
a
boiling.
wisdom saving throw.
That is a 14 for perception.
Can't just ignore the lady with a giant cooking pot in the middle of a cave.
It's an 18 for the wisdom saving throw.
Or maybe you can.
Ooh, nice. Maybe.
All right. You save, and you also notice the heads of 4 humans next to a cauldron, as well as a bloody chopping block with a cleaver in it.
I take note. They look fresh, yes? Within a week. So I'll sort of stop and wait for the rest of the party. Once I notice that, stop my journey across the room. I don't seem outwardly disturbed. I'm just standing waiting.
You can see her true form. She looks rather haggish.
Of course.
Yeah. Sorry.
I guess the rest of us can smell
The food.
what's cooking.
Yep,
It does smell scrumptious.
it is. Or I heard scrummy is a good word. Scrummy. Yummy.
Scrummy.
Scrumptious.
Hi, Scrammy. Hello there. What is your name?
I am Maud Chisselbone. Would you like some stew?
Kind of look over at Evander next to me and kind of shrug like, it smells great.
How did you make this? Because from my time in my own caves, well, it's hard to come by good ingredients.
Make a persuasion check.
How does Archie look? Because everyone else is kind of okay with this.
Audrey is, well, I don't know if I've seen the heads yet, right? I've just seen an old woman stirring a pot in a cave.
16 plus 5 is 21.
Ooh. Why, there's the magic cauldron, you see.
Ah, is that why it smells good, or is that just...
No. My dear, this is the cauldron of plenty. If you pour water in the cauldron, it transforms into a delicious stew, hot and hearty, which can provide a nourishing meal for up to 4 people per gallon. And it is 30 gallons large.
Sounds like a really interesting pot.
If you want to, and you think, let me see. Anji and no, everyone can make an intelligence check if they want.
Say 16.
7. Yeah, I'm not
A
interested.
16 for me as well.
6.
Okay, Evander, Anji, and Kavek, you would know that this amount of food would make pretty much one of the 10 towns set. As the winter is coming, has left for 3 years, crops are sparse, food is scarce, and you know that any member of the 10 towns would kill for this item for their town.
I go ahead and step forward from behind Gray's shadow at this point. Hello?
Or
I'd
pay a
love-
handsome sum. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Or pay a handsome sum.
They'll either kill us for it or they'll pay us for it.
Yes.
I go ahead and step forward out of Gray's shadow at this point.
Yeah, I moved
Or
this.
to kind of like approach Miss Maud, but in a kind of casual, slow sort of way. And actually, I would love a bowl. It's quite chilly in here, and I'm sure that could warm my bones.
Oh, wonderful. Make a wisdom saving throw, and she hands you a bowl of stew.
All right,
She says,
surely
"Make a
I can
wisdom
do
save."
that.
Yeah.
That's a 21.
Oh, you're fine. You do notice that she is a hag now. Her illusion magic drops, and she's no more like a old womanly figure. She is a straight out hag, but you are not
Oh, I was
frightened
about to
of
say,
her.
it's like, what did we think she was?
No, you see her true appearance and you're not frightened of her, and she hands you a bowl of stew.
I'm
Look at
gonna-
bones
But
here.
only Angie and myself know that she's not
Yes.
that lady at the moment.
Yes.
Right, okay.
I'm entranced by the smell of this. I'm gonna come over and I'll get myself a bowl. Very
Please make a
hospitable of
wisdom
you.
saving throw.
Bet.
Remember when we were talking about the larder?
Great, hush for just a second. Don't be rude. She's welcomed us into our home. Speaking of your home, a lovely place, interesting location that you've chosen here. Quite remote.
Yes, I like it. I have my pet in the other room. His name
Oh, what
is...
kind of pet?
Oh, you would know him if you saw him. He's a frost giant skeleton. He's my favorite. I talk
Really?
to him all the time. Isn't that right,
Adorable.
Alfred? Yes, he's my friend.
Right, that would be 15.
You seem to save, and you receive a bowl of stew.
Delicious.
How'd you
Are you
come
eating
about this?
The stew.
I'm feigning bites. Like
Okay.
I'm tucking in.
Okay. Make an intelligence check.
Do we all see the decapitated heads?
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they?
Well, at least. Yeah, now you do, because you're in the
Yeah.
room.
That's a 9.
Are they in the? Are they in there, or are they lined
No,
along?
they're lined up along the wall. You think it is definitely some kind of meat, and it is good.
Evander's gonna walk over to those heads, and is gonna kind of take a piece of cloth that he has with him and start trying to pack them up. Just trying to take them to go.
You want those
A
as
doggy
souvenirs?
bag.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
You want those as souvenirs?
I just thought they looked pretty. Well, couldn't we have them?
Of course, I won't be needing them anymore.
Ah. He's gonna pack up the heads, because...
Would you like some more stew, dearie?
Oh, yes, of course.
Did you
Of
make
course
your
I-
wisdom save?
I didn't end
Okay.
up taking any yet, but I will now.
Okay.
While this is going on, Farewell has dug out the piece of paper she was writing on last night when she was communicating with Gray, and like flipped it over and scribbled something else and hands it to Gray, and it says "Hag" on it.
Because
13.
even if he didn't know it was a hag, he sees the heads without bodies and the rest of his companions enjoying bowls of stew. So he's
Well, she's
Yeah.
hoping he remembers the window thing that he told her about the previous night.
Alright.
yeah.
So the heads got like wrapped in cloth, kind of like a what's that called? Like the
bindle?
like stick with a
A bindle.
yeah.
Hobo bindle.
Yeah. But he's got that kind of tied around his waist, so they're just kind of flopping on the side, like how you hear like keys sometimes when people walk,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
good.
more just a mesh of heads going.
Flesh thumping.
Anji is gonna point back to
Love
where
this.
Evander's sort of tying the heads up, while addressing Maud, and say, you said he didn't need those anymore. I'm just curious. The stew is divine. Were those part of the process? Just trying for recipe tips.
Well, it is magical, and you add a gallon of water, and it will
Right,
produce
like he
this,
said.
and then you mix it, and then the stew will come. But old Maud likes to add her own embellishments here and there.
I understand you have to add a little bit of your own flavor, your own sort of soul to any dish in order to really make it spark. Quick question. How did you come about these particular ingredients?
A good cook never tells.
But you did come about them yourself, I suppose is more specifically what I'm asking.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just like telepathically link with Havoc really quick. You're still standing right next to me?
Yes.
And basically I'm gonna say, you can't talk back, but we have the heads. Should we take her out also? So that this doesn't happen again.
When you do that,
Oh, sorry,
Kavik-
this is Andre talking in your
Kavik-
head.
Kavik tosses his bowl up into the air and lets out this like blood curdling scream.
He doesn't like telepathy.
And starts to run from the room.
Oh my goodness.
Which direction?
Out where we came.
Okay.
All right, okay. All right. First off, what the hell is going on in here?
Okay, Greg.
Kavik!
I'm sorry, Maud. Could you 1 second? You know what? Could you make me one more bowl? I'm gonna see if
Of
I can
course,
trans my
Jerry.
friend. Fabulous. Thank you so much. This is so delicious. Great. Shh. Great.
What the hell are you doing, Anji?
Just hold the bowl. It has the fisherman's meat in it. What I'm trying to do here is basically, what I'm trying to ask is if we need to take this woman out. Because she's obviously the one who killed those men. That is exactly what I'm asking. So, are we taking her?
Stealth.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Both of you can.
Does this still have the? So I'm wearing armor, which is moving around
No,
stealthily.
not
Okay, so it's not a
disadvantage,
disadvantage.
no.
Okay.
It's a
14.
22.
Good. And what'd you do it?
14.
Okay, good.
Not bad for
She's just humming to herself.
That is what I'm trying to establish right now. I believe I was what just triggered Kavik there for a second, but I was trying to ask him if we should kind of get this started from a close range, but I
Here
reacted
you
very
go,
poorly, and I
dearie. Here's
apologize.
more soup for you.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, fantastic. This is delicious. So,
Yeah, sourced with local ingredients.
Your ability to be friendly with something like this is impressive. But and he kind of like sees that like Maud keeps on like looking on over, so he like tilts a little bit and he's like, she killed those people. She's eating them. That's not a hard decision for me.
all right.
By this time,
Do
Kavik
you
has,
believe
made
if
it
I
out into the
try and
corridor.
surreptitiously link with the other two people in this room that they are going to react in a similar way to Kavik? Because I would rather not repeat that.
I don't think so. But do something quickly.
I'm just
Or
going
I
to send a
will.
quick little message to both Evander and Farewell really quick. We are going to fire on this woman within the next 10 seconds.
I was technically talking to her, so I guess
I was wondering, where were you in the room? Because I was standing right next to you. So.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to move
Oops,
my
keep
token
clicking
a
out of
lot
there. I'm
less.
sorry, guys.
Um,
Viewers.
so he will be like, may I? While you telepathically deal with people to just keep Maud interested, he'll be like, may I please have a bowl, ma'am?
Please give me a wisdom saving throw.
As Evander is seeing everything, he's getting the sense like, I don't know, something's about to go down, and he's gonna like long blink,
Yeah.
and when he opens his eyes, that like black like in like depth that he has to his pupil seems to extend out onto his face and then drip down across the rest of him as he casts his mage armor.
Cool. Cool.
Oh, you're having so much fun describing your spells.
You are.
Sarah, for Kavik, he is now at the top of the stairs and kind of curled into a ball.
Okay.
Can I voluntarily take the frightened condition?
Of whom?
Anji.
Okay, yes, you can. For the next... What is it, the next minute? Or 24 hours. You can decide how long you want to be frightened of her.
Let's just say for now.
Okay, for now. That's fine. And, everyone else, you're moving in on this woman?
Yeah, as soon as in the next 10 seconds message comes to farewell, she's going to move very swiftly to the other side of the pot here and attempt to attack the lady.
Alright.
Because if we're doing this, we're doing this.
Oh, damn, yeah. Okay, we're not even gonna give her a... Yeah.
Oops.
Just punch her in the back of the head. It's weird, because, like, she's super evil. I'm totally down to fight her, but I'm almost... But, like, part of me is always like, but I want them to know that we're gonna fight now. It's the knight in me.
So, yeah, very... almost like...
Hello, we're going to
my
fight
glove.
you now.
You know, it's just... It still feels a little weird to punch a lady unprovoked, but...
Good morning, prepare to die.
It's not my care. But, you know, you can punch her unprovoked. That's totally fine.
So I don't know if this counts as a surprise round, or...
Yes. But everyone
Okay.
roll initiative for me anyway, please.
Yeah.
I'm
Da-
gonna
da-
roll
da- da-
initiative for her.
What about me? I'm not in the room.
You can and decide what to do on your turn.
Okay. I think I have an idea, and I'll discuss it with you on my turn.
Okay, that's fine.
Good thing it's a surprise round, because our initiatives are low.
Still better than hers.
Nope, she didn't put hers in yet.
Oh.
Where in this cavern were the heads? Were they on the other side of her? Could you ping where they were, just so I know?
They were on kind of that northwest wall.
Sure, they're on this northwest wall right here.
Like top left, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, you said that someone went over there and saw the heads on the wall, and so that's what I was envisioning.
Okay. That works for me. Alright.
Sorry to overstep.
No, you're not overstepping at all. No one oversteps. You guys got my back. That's how this works. Alright, so we are gonna go to... Let's try this one just for fun. See what's too loud. Okay. Andy, you are first to react.
Do I get my surprise?
We're
Or
just
because
gonna go down the list, and
Okay.
she's not gonna get a turn. Does that work for you?
All right. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yep,
Andy,
that's-
you are the first to react then.
As I send out my everyone get ready, we are going to take this woman out message, I'm going to go ahead and duck back my 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Just start to try and get some cover. And I'm going to go ahead and just fire off another straight Eldritch Blast.
Okay, go for it.
16.
That will hit.
And I think... Warlock to Warlock.
For 12 force damage.
Warlock to
Okay.
Warlock, I think you technically, even though the skeleton died, you still are concentrating on Hex.
Oh, okay.
Because it carries
Are you
over.
How long
serious?
does Hex
It
last?
lasts for an hour.
Okay, yeah, you can carry
Oh,
over
then-
Hex. Is that a bonus action?
Yeah,
to
sure.
mark?
Yep.
Like,
As I
Hunter's Mark?
slip
Cool.
out
it's like-
of Gray's vision, that blur continues along my jawline as it re-unhinges, and that black ichor slithers from the bottom of my lips down into the earth and around the ankles of Maud Chiselbone.
Mhm.
I'm gonna bone her on, let's see. Man, what do hags do?
Magic?
You know what? Yeah,
I
they
don't
do
know.
magic, but there's 3 kinds of that. So I'm gonna take a wild shot. I am. Let's see. I'll bone her on wisdom.
Okay.
That feels good. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's not. And then I'll do an extra. For necrotic damage.
Or necrotic. Okay.
Warlock to warlock, hex can sometimes carry over between battles.
Cool.
Thank you very much, my former warlock friend.
You're welcome.
I'll definitely give you fighter tips that you super need them.
I don't have too many fighters, so I will probably forget like my fighting style at some point.
Remember your muscles. You're gonna use them a lot.
Okay.
And that'll do it for me. Thank you.
Make sure to hit the gym at least once a day. Don't skip leg day.
Never skip leg day.
Never skip leg day.
You'll need them for your pushing skill.
Do my squats.
All right. Up next to react is Evander.
Evander's just going to slam basically his head back against the ice and see if he can get some of the ice to softly shatter around him. And he's just going to, like, some of the shards you see don't fall and actually just coalesce into these spears. And he's going to send 3 magic missiles at her body.
So cool.
I'm so about it. So about it.
We're with it. We're on the Evander train.
And Anji with the ruler jaw, that's really creepy too.
You guys, you two are the ones that have been waiting to describe spell effects.
Yes!
Yeah.
10 damage.
10 damage, cool.
And I have AC now. I have AC now.
So Anji just moves this. What does your hex look like again?
It is almost like if tentacle.
Oh no! Oh no!
Damn!
We'll never
Damn.
know what Anji's hex.
Hexed.
Oh, hex.
It is almost like if tentacles were made of like, you know that not flex tape, but the flex gunk. Half of that like flex sludge and flex smoke. It's almost like unknowable in what necessarily material it's made of, but it twists up her ankles and tattoos itself into her skin.
Oobleck.
Oobleck is a great way to describe it.
Like Hexus from Fern Gully?
Non-Newtonian fluids.
Thank you. That's a smart.
It's like the stuff in Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, that goopy.
So you see that kind of surge into Anji's fingers from the other room and release itself onto Maud Chiselbone as she stumbles backward slightly from a Eldritch Blast, and then you see her getting peppered with these little force beads or ice shards of these darts of energy. And up next is Farewell. She's looking angry and surprised.
Yeah, so as soon as the message came over, Farrell sort of, it was hard to tell exactly how they got from one end of the room to the other, but all of a sudden they were on the other side of Maud, and their new short blade was out in one arm and dagger in the other, and 2 strikes are going to happen to the back of Maud here. First one is a dirty 20 to hit for the arm blade.
Mm-hmm.
Which does 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay. I'm giving the next hit.
And the dagger is a 15 to hit.
That would just hit.
Oh, excellent. And that does 7 points of piercing damage.
Nice turn. So you somehow appear on the other side of her. Go pew, with your new blades, and then you kind of take your other hand with the dagger and kind of slash her with the correctly like this. Fun fact. And you know what you're doing, and you strike a big old vein in her like chest, her upper area, and like she seems to double over as it's Kavik's turn, who is in the other room.
I want to make a wisdom saving throw
Okay, go for it.
just to see if I can like get myself back together and get on my feet again.
Okay.
If you'd like to, you can set it against my current spell DC, which is 13.
All right, I get a 14.
Cool. So you
So-
shake off the effects of having had Anji echo in your mind, and
All right, let's take off frightened then. This beyond 20 business is working pretty well for
yeah,
me.
it's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna get on my feet and edge around the corner. See Anji over here to my right, and still kind of shudder but shake it off.
Hmm.
And I am going to slam my fist against the ice on the wall, grabbing a huge chunk of it, and then with my left hand softball underhand throw it and cast catapult.
Oh, cool. What does that do?
I will show you.
Love catapult.
So catapult, I take an object weighing 1 to 5 pounds, and it flies in a straight line up to 90 feet. If it impacts against a solid surface, blah, blah,
Sure.
blah, blah, they have to make a dex saving throw.
Okay. Let's see.
And my spell DC for that, I think, is what you need to make it against, is 13.
She rolls an 18 plus 1.
It clangs off of the cauldron before it can get to her.
Ooh.
Still-
Ooh, you injured the cauldron. Hold on.
Oh wow, okay. I didn't know that was possible.
It's a magical.
But hey,
word.
I said it, so sorry, y'all.
And the cure for world hunger is destroyed.
My money!
So that's 17
Ow.
damage.
Our leverage over these simple townsfolk.
God!
Okay. Okay. I'll make a note of that.
All right.
Mending cantrip.
Oh, please don't
I have
do
that.
it.
He does
I
have
have-
that.
I
Thank
have-
God.
Alright, remember that you have that. And then it is Gray's turn.
All right. Gray was the one that wanted to kill her super bad, but everyone just kind of went. He was like, "Oh." He will move to get on the other side of her as farewell. No shield this time, baby. He's going to attack with both hand axes like a dang Viking berserker. He's
Okay.
gonna slash into her with the first strike, with the hand axe of returning, which is a 17 to hit.
17. Yes, that'll hit.
So that'll be 9 magic slashing damage.
9 magic slashing damage. Nice.
And then he will use his bonus action to make an offhand attack with his other hand axe. That is not magical.
Okay.
I don't think that one will hit though. That's just a 10.
A 10 will not hit.
Unless I'm flanking. Unless we're doing flanking this
You are
campaign.
flanking.
So can I re-roll that?
Yeah, sorry.
Uh,
I'm just gonna-
12. Not much higher.
No, sorry. Unfortunately, that will not just miss her, but that does miss her. At this
That's
point,
okay.
At this point, actually, she's gonna say, "Please, I'm just a lonely old woman, and you can have my cauldron, and I can even give you gold. If you stop this against me."
With my axe still embedded in her shoulder from the back, he will say, "You should have thought of that before your recipes included people like me."
Okay.
And then my turn, which I think ends the surprise round.
Make an intimidation check, but I'm gonna allow anyone that wants to do intimidation can use their strength modifier instead.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
I like that rule because you're big and scary to me. You're like towering over her. So if you want to like crack your knuckles and be like, "You should have thought of that beforehand," that makes sense to me.
I rolled a little low. I went for it. Only an 11 though. I rolled
Okay.
kind of low.
She looks shaken by what you said.
There's 4 decapitated humans in here, lady. I'm not falling for it.
But I have a chest worth 1,000 gold I can bring you to. I will deliver it to you myself.
Is this like paused initiative?
Yes.
Is it just to me or is it to anyone?
You just wounded her to say to you.
You see Farewell on the other side of her blades dripping in blood, just unmoving, sturdy.
Please, anyone, 1,000 gold, and this cauldron, which is priceless.
She's killing and eating people. You want to put a price on that?
You're right, Gray. There is absolutely no price on that.
It's Anju's turn.
That's true. You're right after me. That makes sense.
It's true. It is my turn. I'll go ahead. I'll take a couple steps forward out of my little hidey hole that I've kind of found for myself. That's true, Gray. There is no price on that at all, ma'am. You have other things in here besides just this cauldron that you've presumably scrounged from other victims.
There's a chest worth 1,000 gold, and I will bring it out from the ice for you.
All right. How far is it?
It's north of here. Under a waterfall.
Yes, how far?
In the next chamber.
I'm gonna telepathically link with Gray for like just a second.
He's got the other hand axe, like, he's got one in her and one, like, up in the air.
We are going to kill this woman. We are going to see her justice. Either by our hands or perhaps by the town's. Whatever you see fit is more just. However, if she can show us 2 other things that she has taken from the people of 10 Towns, I don't see how that is necessarily a bad thing.
You're not wrong. If you promise. He'll put the axe. He'll.
All right,
Can
Maud.
Evander insight check her saying that there's gold in the next room?
Yeah.
That's true. Tense in the middle of battle debates.
Yeah.
That's only a 10.
She seems to be honest.
Because of what Anji said, Gray is becoming less hostile.
Okay.
For this moment.
Okay.
She calls out one more time to the hag, Miss Maud, we're going to bind your hands. Are you all right with that as you lead us to where this 1,000 gold is, just as a precaution?
Let's see. Yes. If you let me live.
Of of course. It's just as a precaution.
Gently, my dear. I'm getting old.
All right. Who wants to do it? I can't do it very well. I'll start taking out some rope, but
Gray will put his hand axes back into his belt.
Is everyone else stopping attacking this one?
I would still keep my blades out, but I would step away like I'm separating from what's happening, as I did not agree to this.
Evander's
That's
hand
true. That was
lifted down to where the decapitated heads are at his side, like an old west gunslinger before he draws, but he's not gonna act upon anything.
Okay.
Just readying in case she looks like she's about to do something to like damage us.
Okay.
Or like break from her word. Then
Gotcha.
Kavik is going to go over to the cauldron, take out his crossbow and set it on the ground next to him, and he's going to place a thumb on either side of the damage that he's caused, and for the next minute he's going to like slowly draw his hands together and cast mending.
And that takes a minute?
It does take a minute.
Okay. So you sit there, and I'll take you out of initiative.
while that's happening, I'll produce the rope, and perhaps Sir Grey or Farewell or Evander or anyone who could help me properly bind this woman. Just the way that she can't produce any magic. I'd really like some help, basically, is what I'm getting at.
I will try to tie her up, but I do know that Farewell was kind of backing away. I know you can't make facial expressions, but hopefully body language, I can kind of get that you're.
I mean, both blades are still out, and I'm like eyeing her like a hawk, like
at the ready, but non-hostile.
at the ready.
Her blades speak for her.
Yeah, he has a hand on Maud's shoulder because he was behind her when he attacked. Okay. And he holds out his other hand to Farewell and goes, "Farewell, I understand. I'm gonna trust Miss Angie for this, but I understand. Trust me." And I'm going to try and bind Miss Maud's hands.
Sure.
Effectively. I know she said, "Gentle, I'm old," but I'm old too. Yeah. So that I don't care too much.
That's fine.
Elder on elder abuse.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even make you give me a dex check. She's gonna go limp wrist and just stand.
All right.
And she leaves.
Show us.
And Ashley, do you know where this is where a good time to take our belated break for the evening?
Ooh, yeah.
So thanks for hanging in there with us. I'm sorry it's so late for our break to the players, but we were in the middle of something really exciting. So the
time went by.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
I didn't even notice.
It's 9
Me
o'clock.
either.
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. It's too fast.
It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday. The creepy crowd shuffles in.
I like it. All right, so
there's an old man tying up a hag next to her big cauldron.
Bravo. So we'll be right back in 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll see you soon. Now we're back
Okay.
on overlay. And we're back.
Hello.
So, you see Maud move up. Peanut butter was a poor idea before stream. Like, I'm eating peanut butter and banana. It's delicious. With a little honey on it.
Peanut butter banana.
A little honey on it. Really good. Alright, so Maud is moving up.
Gray is walking with her.
Why does she... Oh, she don't want
Anji's right behind.
Sorry, I'm gonna turn her aura off. I forgot she got an aura. How do I know?
Anji, as you walk by Kavik, you see him kind of like punch his shoulders in and turn his head away from you.
Alright, there we go. Alright, so she's gonna move up to this chamber. And it's solid ice on the floor.
Oh, I see things in that ice.
Yes, everyone that wants to can give me a perception check.
$21.
Only a 9 for me.
5.
16.
I'm sorry.
I'm wrapping up my mending.
I forgot. Alright. So. Gray, you notice 4 frost giant skeletons in the ice. The forms of them.
9 hells. What even happened to all these giants?
Oh, not skeletons, 4 frost giants. The faint outlines of their forms, barely visible. And she kind of points, she goes, up there! I might slide a little because I'm old, but up there is the alcove with the treasure that you seek. She'll begin to move.
Yeah. He'll hold her shoulder, which is one part to keep her from slipping, but also one part to hopefully keep her from doing something weird.
Okay. So true to her word, I'm gonna move her up a little. As you reach up here, there are 2 alcoves. She points to the one in the more easterly one and says, if you dig 10 feet under the snow and ice, you'll find a nice chest of treasure.
Oh no. You said that you would get it for us. You will be digging.
Make an intimidation check.
Evander gets like plus 30,000 to intimidation.
It's a 17.
Yeah, she's scared of you, in particular. She goes, but I'm frail. I can light a fire, but that's about it.
Evander, her hands are bound. She'll lead us to the spot, and we can do it for her.
Where'd this chest even come from, Maud?
It was there when the frost giants were here. People have claimed things over the years, but that one I managed to squirrel away for myself.
Well, why don't you show us exactly over which spot we should dig, and we'll get to it.
Okay. And as she moves up, I'm just gonna move her there.
That's
She points in front of her and says, here, Here's the spot, right on the edge.
And Kavik has finished up his stuff, and he's coming over to join y'all.
Okay.
10 feet is pretty deep. That'll take a while.
Yeah. I'll say it'll take like an hour, if you do it, Gray.
Someone watch her.
I will back the hag up to a wall
Mhm.
and just stand Warforged style, unmoving, unblinking, with a blade against her.
Everyone
I
but
will-
Gray can have a short rest during this time.
I'll do what I can to help dig.
Okay.
Unless Kavik has some wonderful invention that becomes a shovel.
Or a jackhammer.
Or
Let
like
me
a
see
badger.
what I got.
Or Badger.
But I guess I'll just be like, I guess.
Horses.
You can put
I'm
I
trying
have
to
a
decide-
shovel.
or something.
Oh, you have a shovel?
Yeah, of course.
May I use the shovel?
Duh.
Boom. It's
Damn.
part of my adventure. It's part of my adventuring gear.
He's literally got a shovel. I will use the shovel and dig.
It's one of those. It's one of those kind of like folding and trenching tools that goes into a
Tactical
package
shovel.
about yay long, and screw, and I toss it to you or slide it to you across the ice because I'm not getting near Anji at the moment.
Thanks.
But welcome.
This isn't here, like you say. And I point at her. But he doesn't end the sentence. He just goes into digging.
Okay.
Let her think of what the rest of that sentence is.
Evander's going to use his short rest just to place his hands on the walls of the cave and just mutter to himself, using his psionic discovery to learn detect magic for the next 3 hours.
Okay. Cool.
That's
So you do that, and about an hour 15 minutes later, you hear a thunk, thunk on the end of your shovel. Yes, that's it. I told you it was there.
well, look at that. Looks like she actually was telling the truth. Hold on. Start digging. He'll start like jabbing with the shovel to kind of excavate it.
And with the help of Anji, you can both just lift out the box.
All right.
I'll go ahead and. Is there a lock on it or?
It looks to have a closing mechanism. It doesn't have like a knob or anything.
Then I'll just pop it open. I'm just gonna
Okay.
go ahead and take a peek inside.
Wait.
There is.
Sorry. What is it, Gray?
This isn't gonna do anything to us when we open it, is it?
Not that I know of.
He lifts his hand off of you, Anji.
You open up, and there's a mound of gold in there.
Thought like, haha, and it blows up.
No.
You never know.
Okay.
Between that
Where is
and the
everyone
cauldron, it would
standing?
be very hard to carry back to the boats, though. I'm just letting you know.
I see.
Could push it along the ice, make it easier.
So this has taken them about an hour, you said? While they're doing that, I'm going to be fiddling with some things in my pack. I have maybe a kind of a thin strip of leather that I am kind of forming with some of my tools, and you see that I have kind of shaped the leather so it's got kind of two round shapes, and then in the middle of each shape is a kind of a square slit that goes through the middle of each one of these.
Okay.
just for later.
Okay. Yeah. So, what are you gonna do with the treasure? You gonna slide it across the ice?
You could, I mean, we could do that. Might be able to like tie a harness around me, and I can like pull it by rope across the ice.
Mush.
The cauldron, I think, has a specific weight. I don't know how much a chest of 1,000 gold carries. I mean weighs, but the
It's probably not
Um,
nothing.
Much, actually.
Oh, okay.
I know a chest by itself weighs 25 pounds on you have it on D&D Beyond.
Okay. So I'm gonna
In
say
our Monday game, we decided 5,000 gold is 100 pounds when we were doing the
So this is
treasure
20
dragon hoard.
20 pounds.
Okay.
So 45 pounds total?
45, 50 pounds.
so 2 of you or 3 of you will have to lift that, and the cauldron itself has to be emptied, and by itself it weighs 50 pounds without the liquid inside.
I mean, there's also getting all that on the boat plus an extra person.
You can't
So
waste this
Farewell
food.
still has the hag up against the wall, and is sort of looking over once the people have recovered this box of gold, and is sort of quickly looking back and forth between the hag and the box, just sort of seeing what the reactions are.
Okay. If it's good or bad kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If we divided up the gold, we could just leave the chest.
Fair enough. Does everyone have pockets to accommodate?
Got a backpack. It would be
Suppose I
what,
could stuff
200 a person?
ropes, but yes, 200 a person.
All right.
If it's not taken from the people of 10 towns, it's from when the frost giants were here.
Which
Or we can return, or we can ask when we get back to town. I'm just thinking about the weight on the boat. You spread it out between multiple people. It's a lot easier for 5 people to carry 200 gold coins and leave a 25-pound chest.
Oh no, that makes complete sense, Gray. What I'm more curious about is what you're suggesting about the origin of the sum. Once we
Well,
reach 10 towns, what do you suppose we do with it?
I mean, we can talk a little bit with the captain of the guard, see what sort of justice can be met here, and maybe ask a little bit more about these frost giants. I'm sure the people of the town East
Haven.
Haven. I'm sure the people of East Haven probably got some stories or some history about them, especially if it's just on the other side of the lake or a little bit ways down on the coast. I reckon.
Well, that sounds fine to me. I suppose I can start divvying up the funds then as it is, so we can all take a fifth of it. Leave the chest here.
And what about the cauldron? If it's actually magical.
Yes, we take it.
All right. All right, well, let's go.
Oh,
I think we've got
sorry. I keep
everything.
forgetting I'm in the same screen. I'm sorry, chat.
I think we've done what we came here to do and then some. Are all of you all right with getting out of here?
One more thing. He's just gonna place his hand while they're still in that giant antechamber, and he's gonna cast the detect magic that he had before, just to see if there's any other secret pockets throughout the cave that have some magical items or something similar, stowed away. And he's gonna keep going to each of the alcoves to do so because it's only within 30 feet of him.
Kavak, what's your passive?
My passive wisdom.
Perception.
All right, my passive perception is 10.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright.
So I don't sense anything with detect magic then, right?
No detect magic flares going.
Okay.
You looking for something, Evander?
Well, she said that there's been remnants and things that people have taken off these giants. Maybe she's hidden more than she's let on.
It's true. Notice anything?
Nothing magical that I can tell, but my senses only go so far.
Maybe you can take a look at that pot.
Yeah, and if everyone's heading back that way,
Yeah.
he will.
Everyone but the hag, who slides limply to the floor. Dead.
Oh? Well,
Sorry, what?
she just died.
It looks like her throat has been slit from ear to ear, and she's just bleeding profusely at your feet.
Ooh.
Who the hell did that? Farewell?
I draw my
You don't
rapier.
really get a reaction.
Well, because you were the one that were holding her against the wall, and
But
you've got
Kevin?
a blade that comes out of your arm.
Kavik, you draw your rapier. What are you doing?
I just see the hag like get sliced.
No,
You
you don't
know.
see her get sliced. You just see her fall limply to the ground.
Oh, I thought you said she started bleeding.
She was bleeding.
Oh.
There wasn't like a motion of attack. She
No,
just
she just
suddenly
fell to the
had.
ground. Because my
had a
audio
slice
cut
of
out for
throat.
a second. I thought you said that like she just got invisibly slashed.
No,
Right.
no. You all go to leave, and the hag just slips to her knees and falls to the ground. And her neck is just a gaping wound.
All right. I still draw my rapier just because I notice sudden movement, and so I just am kind of standing at the ready
Okay.
to lunge at anything that comes near me.
Okay.
Because Farewell was by her, and you have a blade arm, so that's why I asked. Did you just decide to do that?
She just sort of looks at you, not really indicating one way or another. It's kind of hard to tell, honestly, having no emotions on a face.
Is your arm blade out, or are you holding any of your blades?
She still has her dagger in her hand, but her arm blade has been put away since when she went over to walk, when the gold was dug up. It put it away for safety.
Okay. Is the dagger bloody?
It has blood on it from the previous
From
fight.
earlier. Well, because it's been an hour since the fight, so I don't know if it looks like you've recently cut a throat.
Make an investigation check.
There doesn't seem to be any invisible thing here. I feel like I would have
12.
detected that.
12.
Not on the dagger.
Well, somebody say what the hell just happened.
Not our
What do you want me to say? I'm all the way over here.
I don't know.
Right, I've had enough of this cave. Let's get out of here.
You're the only people here.
The chaos. Well, let me ask. I guess I said I was going to divvy up the gold, right? and start into like little piles. Has everyone picked up their money
All right, I'll come
before
over
the
and
hag went down?
I'll come over and get.
We
some
were
money.
saying we were going to move, so I'll add it.
Like, I'll grab my shovel from Gray and use it to kind of like pull it towards me, and put it in my bag.
Okay, so we all got our money, and then the hag went down. Okay, great. Let me get back into where the heck we are in this little bit. But she's dead. Well, I suppose we should still bring her body back to the 10 towns. But I didn't do it. No one else seems to have done it. Was she always like this? I didn't notice any gash on her neck. Rudius.
I think someone isn't telling the truth.
There's all
Well, the
kind of a
only one who
tense
was
moment
standing
as
by
we just
her
kind
was
of
Farewell.
eyeball
Yep.
each other.
Farewell was the one crowding her against the wall as we were all discussing this gold and digging it up and all that. So,
I'm
Farewell?
sorry. Is it a problem that she died?
Potentially.
Why?
It wasn't part of the plan. At the very least, we talked about saying things before we do them. At the very least.
Say things.
I look over at Gray and I sort of slowly walking towards him, somewhat menacingly. And then I point to my face area. And then I hold up a blank card. And then I put it away again.
Are you trying to be intimidating?
Not really
Okay.
trying to, persuade him or intimidate, but
Okay.
trying to make a point a little bit.
You wanted her dead. If Farewell did that, so be it. I didn't detect anyone perhaps invisible near us, so we're not in danger of that sort. As long as we don't get stabbed behind by our silent friend, I think we're fine.
You're right. We're making a big to-do about it. We'll just put her on the boat and take her back to town.
Why? Why are we bringing a dead hag corpse with us?
The people are going to want to know what happened, and it helps prove that we didn't just go off and kill their fishermen.
Or we could have killed an additional person.
I said it helps.
We cannot just bring a hand or something to prove we killed it. We have to bring the whole dead body.
If they see what she is, it helps. But if you don't want to, I'm not telling you what to do.
All right, but if we're bringing it, she's going on your side of the boat.
Fine. Jeez.
All right.
Right, on we go.
So you're going
Let's go
back-
grab the cauldron and have a wee nibble, and then we'll be on our way.
I'll take Maud.
Okay. Easy enough. She's slumped over.
Are you just like holding her, like dragging her along the ice?
No, actually, I mean, he doesn't have like a. How do I explain this?
You have a blanket.
Not that he had respect for who she was alive, but he's not about like brutalizing corpses, so he is actually holding it more like bridal style. He's holding it in his two arms in front of him.
Cavalier style.
Yeah.
The light cantrip would have gone out by now.
Okay.
And so he'll walk back up to Gray and do the same wispy strand of milky fluid, but he's gonna drop it into her eyes and
Oh, yes.
be the emitting light source.
Just like turning her head.
That'll make the walk back fun.
I thought so.
Anyway,
I got her. I got
Head
her.
back
Who's
to
gonna
the-
get the pot?
I'll get it.
I can help with the pot as well.
okay, so the two of you grab it. That's fine. And are you going any other direction, or are you going
Guess
straight
I'll
out the way
stay
you
back
came?
with everybody else. I think just back the way we came.
Yeah, there's a lot of cave to explore, but if there's more giant skeleton corpses, I'd like to not find them.
So much cave, so little time.
Okay.
But while we walk back, I will say, so Kavik, if this job
Aye.
is done, are you still going to go after that shard stuff?
Don't say it out loud.
I didn't say the whole thing. I said shard stuff.
Yes. I've got to.
All right.
I would really like for all of you to come with me. But if the case is that you all decide not to go, I cannot pass this opportunity up.
Well, in the nature of good faith, before we came out here today, last night, I think the White Lady tried to contact me.
What
Writing
did she
on the
say?
Writing on the windowsill, a warning, warned about a couple things. One being hag, but also invisible dwarves going after the stuff.
We'll call it the substance for now.
Sure. Invisible dwarves going after the substance. So if even she mentioned it, and she wasn't more wrong about this, any kind of the body,
We've
Then
got to get a move on.
maybe it is actually important.
Well, let's get after the substance as quick as possible then.
Alright. But yeah, he just wanted to. I don't want to keep too many secrets from the party, so that's in the hope of honesty in the future.
I guess as they empty out the cauldron and stuff, and they're pushing it and making their way towards the out of the cave, Kavik will kind of flinchingly sidle up to Anji, and say quietly to her, I know that you meant well, but don't ever get inside my head again. My head is my space.
Oh, we lost Anji. Hold on one
We
second.
lost
Damn,
it.
you threatened way too.
Yeah.
Didn't even
Dear.
threaten. I just said don't. Dave, are you with us, man?
I am. Audrey blinks and says, I'm sorry. You were continuing your threat. I apologize.
I wasn't threatening you. I just said don't ever do it again. Warning you.
She, as everything is being loaded up into the boats, all the stuff that she had, tried to procure and make sure that we got in and got back to the shore, she looks up at you through thick eyelashes and says, I apologize. It was a slip of instinct, and it will never happen again, if that is what you desire.
Apology accepted. It's not really in me to hold grudges, will depend on emotions. I'm sorry that I overreacted. It's not very scientific of me. And
Well.
so he reaches into his bag and he pulls out the leather thing that he was fiddling with and kind of hands it over to you and go, this is for your eyes and until I can come up with something better. And what
Oh.
he's handed you is essentially what are known as Inuit goggles made by First Nation people in far north of North America, and they're like a leather piece that goes across your eyes, but limits your field of vision to the small slits, which can help with light exposure that diffracts off of ice and snow to a degree.
She looks down at this piece of leather in her hands and looks back up at you and says, well, I've never received a gift for an insult. This is quite special.
This is not for an insult.
I meant my
This
own
is-
insult. I apologize.
I didn't make this for you because you insulted me. I made it for you because I wanted to see if I could.
Well, in either case, I'm appreciative of it. And again, I apologize for overstepping any bound. However, I have to admit, Kavik, I am a little bit curious about your reaction. And not that you have to tell me anything about it now, but if you ever would like to, I'm all ears.
I'll think about it.
And if ever I learn to make something as ingenious as this or any of the other fantastic things you come up with, I'll be sure to repay this favor in particular.
I'll keep that in mind. And he just kind of shuffles off back to help get the cauldron onto the boat.
Okay.
And I put the body on my boat.
So who's gonna give me strength checks for rowing again?
I'll do it.
And a survival check.
Let's try to be more even again this timing.
All right. All right, I'm in the middle.
Let's see. That's
It was more that Nate rolled a 1, so you couldn't tell which way you were going.
Andrew, did
Oh,
you
I
want
thought
to
it-
try and navigate again, or did you want to pass the torch?
I can try, I suppose.
I rolled
Sure.
a 12
18.
for strength.
Okay. Yep, you guys are successfully rowing, at least. Let's see.
12.
And you seem to row away from the caves, back to whence you came.
Always a good start.
Yes. So, you do have this cauldron, so it's is the cauldron in yours, I guess? Cause
Kavik, the cauldron's in Kavik's.
you're lagging just a hair because the cauldron's very heavy. So, and takes up a lot of room, so it's a little bulky to see around, see where you're going. But you guys make it back to East Haven Docks.
Putting a little bit of stress on the joiner struts.
Evander's gonna link with Anji,
Oops.
and he's just gonna ask, what do we want for this? What's our goal? Do we want
Cauldron's
powerful?
priceless,
Do we want?
right?
How can we extort these people?
They give up heat, correct? How much do you suppose
Now,
daily?
some people give up food, some people give up heat, some people give up other things.
Right, these people give up heat in East Haven. I don't know particularly if we can save it and continue to just haul it around from city to city, but I'm certain we could fetch any tavern who has this particular item is going to crush the rest of them as far as quantity and probably quality goes.
This is true. Would we want to sell it or gain favors for it? Perhaps have people either give us things or give us information. Captain of the Guard has already agreed to give us information on the wizard and all of his belongings, so perhaps not that, but is there a way we could make them work for us or anything we want accomplished?
Money right now. However,
Just something to think on.
something to think on. We'll get back to you. How long is this particular psychic link lasting?
4 hours.
Perfect. Come up with something by the end of that.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Dude.
the cauldron is radiating magic, by the way.
Oh yeah, I figured.
Sorry, forgot to specify, but yes, very powerful magic. This cauldron. I can't tell you what kind because I don't know, but
I'd
I'm
assume
gonna
like conjuration or something.
I would assume conjuration.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's go with that.
Conjures food.
Yeah.
Are we gonna try and find the guard captain? See if we can get this settled.
Yeah, you pull into the ferry docks around now, and you're the only ones in the area, so not a lot of competition for boats right now.
One of
We
us.
flag down someone to go and get the. What was the person who hired us to do this?
The guard captain.
guardsman.
The guard
captain.
whose name is Imdra
Bob.
Argo.
Oh.
Orlagath.
Arlagath. I can never say that. They have a hyphen in the middle of her name, so and it goes on to the next sentence, kind of thing, like the paragraph breaks.
One of those.
Yeah,
Arlagath.
there was a.
One of those hyphenated names.
Yeah, should we see if we can find Imdra?
Perhaps we can send somebody or find a local person to pass on word for us.
Right now, the dock itself looks empty, but you think if you go into town a little, there might be people.
Could send for her to come down to the docks. That way we don't have to carry the body through the street.
I think a few of us could go and fetch them. Perhaps some of the less strong, so we don't have to deal with carrying things. I mean, perhaps Anji and I could go and talk to the guard for us.
I was thinking something similar myself. We could scamper on there and just go grab her, and you'll be parked by the time we get back.
Sounds like a good idea to me. I'm gonna rest my bones anyway.
Alright. You two head off the ship. Or the boats, not in the ship. Little boats. And you, go to the town hall, which is here. Doesn't take you very long. And you see Captain Arlagath, pacing. Rapidly.
Something the matter? We've arrived with your
Oh
fishermen.
no! Oh good, good. Thank you so much. And how are they?
He's holding it back.
Not quite. Evander, please.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
we
dear
were not
gods.
quick enough to spare their lives. However,
Did you throw them at her?
At her feet, yes.
Okay.
oh no. Okay. However, we did find the one who did this to them, so the threat is neutralized.
Good.
They are also with us. Our compatriots have the dead body of the perpetrator. That's why we came to fetch you.
The dead body. I'd like to cut out their innards myself.
Yes, that was our original plan also, was to allow
Telling
you to
that
do
they
that.
suffered.
Oh, most assuredly.
Wonderful. She kind of spits on the ground. I'll come
They
with you.
go hard in 10 times.
Yeah.
Does something
Inside
else
when she sits
bother
on the
you,
ground?
Captain? You seem to be pacing and waiting for something.
No, just news from you. Seeing if you guys succeeded or not. Finally some word. At least we can give their remains a rest.
Sure.
Maybe go at like a small cremation. Get like one of
Another
those little like
bonfire.
boxes. There's not really a lot to bury.
I will follow you.
And
I'm gonna really, really quickly reestablish my link
Okay.
with Evander really quick.
Okay.
So during the duration, you don't have to do anything on your end. Like for the next 4 hours, we just have this whenever.
Oh
We're
yes,
within-
I'm just saying. I'm about to just shoot you something really, really quick. But basically, I'm like, as she's like, puttering around, like kind of like looking at the heads or whatever she's doing, I'm just like, that stash of crystals or whatever that Kavik is so curious about.
Aye.
We have the town check on that for us.
Or
If not the
maybe-
town, then perhaps the town's thieves.
Maybe it's not the best to alert more people to this location.
Do you think? All right. It was
I
just a thought
think
while we
at
were
least
here.
if we're not able to find an adequate price for this cauldron, we need to convince the others to keep it until we find something worth its time.
That's fair. Understood. All right. We'll go ahead and lead you to where our friends have the captive. Or, well, the captive body.
She puts on her cloak and gives you a nod and follows you outside.
Way down we go to the river. I saw a boat floating.
So you three arrive, and do you show her the cauldron or?
Let's show her the dead body first.
Yeah, hag.
Great. I'm a woman of my word. You can have this. What did I offer you money or just the items? Oh, the spell of
I think it was-
scroll of fireball or a gray bag of tricks. Either one are yours.
Does anyone know if an artificer can use a spell scroll like that?
If fireball is on your spell list, you can use it.
Hold, please.
So I know Evander can use it off the top of my head.
But a
Angie
mystery bag of whatever sounds interesting.
Well, Angie and
It does
Evander
sound
are
interesting.
gone. Farewell, sitting in the boats, is just going to dig out wood carving again and just sit there whittling away.
Okay.
Farewell. Sorry, maybe I was a little aggressive back there. Trying to see where all of you people stand. I don't mean nothing by it.
Looks over at you, gives you a short nod, goes back to carving.
See, I like that. I like that. It's just cool. Right.
Anything else you'd be doing while waiting for the captain and the other two to return?
as a flavor thing, I guess I would ask Kavik if he knows how to throw dice.
Of course. I mean, we're soldiers. What's a soldier to do when there's not fighting but do a wee bit of gambling?
My thoughts exactly. Care to play a
It's
few
like to roll
rounds
some
while we wait?
bones.
Yeah. These are dice made from some knuckles, so bones indeed. They'll throw a
Alright.
couple rounds with you if you want.
Let's do that.
That's
Oh, I
what
only
we
know
do.
Joaquin. Sorry. Joaquin?
Phoenix?
No. I don't know how to play that. There are rules for that?
I don't think he's saying that we role play it out. I think it's just
Oh,
how
okay,
That's
okay,
what we.
okay.
That's what we do.
I was
We
gonna have you
throw.
roll the actual dice if you wanted to.
If you like,
Maybe
Ink,
another time.
you and I can talk about that, and we can work that
Yeah,
in later. I would love that.
we can play liar's dice. I love playing liar's
Here,
dice.
I've got a link to
I
something.
want to learn how to play liar's dice, but
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
you send me that then.
Another time.
Alright, alright.
Yeah.
Alright, wasn't sure. Alright, so you guys get back and you meet up. You see the captain of the guard, Orligeth, and yeah. So she looks at the body, kind of kicks it with her foot a little, not kicks it heavily, but like nudges it with her foot. Well done. And she reaches into her pack and shows you what she has.
All right. I don't care about whichever reward we pick, so leave it up to the fancy folk.
Personally, I can't use this scroll, and I'm not sure what a bag of tricks entails, so I'm perfectly fine with either.
And I don't think that I can learn that spell, but I am curious as to what's in the bag of tricks. That sounds interesting.
Well,
Do you know what's in the bag?
you throw one.
And
of
he's
those-
also going to be at the same time offering a dagger to the captain of the guard, since she said she wanted to like disembowel this corpse.
Oh.
She did say that.
No, that was a figure of speech, I guess. Thank you, though. I appreciate your gung-ho-ness of this whole thing. Bag of tricks. You reach your hand in and you can throw something out of it. An animal will come out, and you can only do it so many times per day. And
This is Sarah being like, remember all those pets
yeah,
that you did or did not take
Almost
care of?
pets.
Here you go. Magic pets. Don't have
That
to
don't-
worry about it.
Don't have to feed them.
they
And
disappear.
you can get a
within,
new
like,
one
an
each
hour, and
day.
it's fine, yeah.
This is the perfect pet.
Out of character, Dylan says go with the bag of tricks. I think the only person that could use the scroll is a Vander
Yeah.
right now.
But
So-
even then, like eventually, I'd be able to.
You'll just be able to cast it if you want that.
So I say let's leave it up to Nate because he has the most to lose. Nate, fire or bag of tricks?
Oh, bag of tricks, 100%. Because like even then, like it would be like I'd be able to use the scroll once, and
Yeah.
then even like unless I want, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a wizard, they would basically be able to get it for free because they could add it into their book. But for you, it would just be one use.
Bag of tricks, please.
She hands you a gray bag of tricks. This ordinary bag made from gray cloth appears empty. Reaching inside the bag reveals the presence of a small fuzzy object. The bag weighs half a pound. You can use an action to pull the fuzzy object from the bag and throw it up to 20 feet. When the object
Catapult.
lands, it transforms into a creature you determine by rolling a d8 and consulting the table.
I'm
The
gonna
creature
make a.
vanishes at the next dawn, or when it is reduced to 0 hit points. It is friendly to you and your companions and it acts on your turn. You can use a bonus action to command how the creature moves, and one action takes on its next turn, or to give it general orders such as to attack its enemies. Your enemies.
I'm gonna make a reference here, and I feel like hopefully at least one other person. It was like Yu-Gi-Oh, but it wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh. It was called Bakugan. You had little plastic ball things, and you rolled them out, and they unfolded into little monsters. And they were along the lines of like Beyblades and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff like that. Does anyone remember Bakugan?
Bakugan does not resonate with me.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. That's okay. I got one person.
Too old.
Yeah,
They were so stupid, and I loved them.
So I'll
who
tell you what, though, once 3 fuzzy objects have been pulled from the bag, it can't be used again until the next dawn. This one can summon a weasel, giant rat, badger, boar, panther, giant badger, dire wolf, or giant elk. I'm not sure if you have to attune to it. I don't think you have to attune to it.
Do you know if the corpses stay around after we?
It vanishes.
Okay.
We just get 3 ghost pets a day.
Yeah.
Random ghost pets.
I was also thinking about that. I was wondering if it was like Thor's goats kind of a thing. In Norse mythology, he killed his goats every day and made a stew out of them, and then in the next day he'd resurrect them from the bones, and he'd have his goats again to pull his chariot.
Yeah, no, they're more like familiars. When they go down to 0 hit points, they just poof out of existence.
Who wants the bag? Or can we like have joint custody of the bag?
We can totally share it, but someone should keep it in their inventory so we don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Well, throughout all this deciding, Farewell is still just sitting there carving.
Okay.
Not seeming to pay attention or being interested in either the scroll or the great bag. Just sitting there carving away.
I'll take the bag if no one wants to hang on to it.
Okay. And I don't think it requires attunement, so you guys can
anyone can pull a.
Yeah.
Let me just add it to my sheet.
Gray does like animals, but he would never ask for the bag because he said, I don't care about the reward.
Are you showing her the call?
And you said that we would.
Sorry.
Said that we would.
You said that you would lead us to a. Yeah.
I'm sorry, breaking up.
Yeah, you're going.
He's asking about the wizard information, I think.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You would lead us to where
now.
the wizard.
But yes, that.
The wizard's tower. The wizard's tower was? Was that what it was? Where the wizard was taken from?
I believe that's what it was. I think it was just like more information on like the wizard and where their location was, basically, like their tower or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, if you do this job, you'll earn my trust. I'll tell you more about this wizard.
Okay.
You're right. I totally forgot about that.
See, I don't remember that. I think I told you everything there was about the wizard that I could tell you.
They wouldn't let us in to see the house.
Yeah, his house.
Oh, his house.
I said tower before because I just think wizard and tower.
I'm going back. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, because they foreclosed his. They were like reclaiming all of his stuff for the town because he doesn't need it.
Okay, let's see what they have in mind here. Why won't you tell me? Well, on that note, we'll end the episode, and I will look up what I was supposed to tell you about this wizard fellow. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh,
All right. He doesn't really have a house in the town. He more rented a room.
hmm.
And she'll say, I've learned that you have my trust now. You can visit his room if you would like.
Oh, I would.
He doesn't have like an established place per se in town though.
That will suffice.
Okay. So she'll walk. Are you telling her about the cauldron? No. Just in the boat.
Um, well, we're kind of wrapping up, so can we say that we finished the conversation about this next time?
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sounds.
Well, we can decide what we say about the cauldron if
Yes.
we do.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
because it's
guys.
not exactly hidden. It's a big cauldron.
Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
about that,
I mean,
guys.
it is
did not
it
have
is
that
right
prepared.
there.
But yeah, it is right there. So on that note, we will end a stream. Anji, you did not get a chance to use your nut 20.
I got that Eldritch Blast
I
nat
know.
20 for real, and so I'm happy.
So
I got like 3 or 4 or something. It was crazy. My dice were
Yeah.
hot today.
So if you guys want to vote on someone that you think did excellent roleplay, please let me know.
Evander's spell descriptions were so good today. That's on me. Just wanted to get that out there. It was so good.
I agree, and just the fact that he was just it was kind of hilarious. He's just like, we're totally gonna rip these people off, right?
He literally said,
How
"How
are
are
we
we
gonna
going to
exploit these
extort
people?"
these?" I think it was
Yeah.
extort these people. It was like,
Yeah, it was extort.
how are we going to extort these people?
It
It's
was
like there's no.
it was very funny.
Alright. So I think that means Evander gets the nat 20. Let's see which letter I have it on. There we go. Oh, drag that. Oops, I made it bigger than everyone's faces. Oh well.
Oh wait, I want to say I'm gonna pull up the stream because I want to see it get big.
There we go.
That was
I
good.
had a lot on editing stream stuff tonight, so it's been really fun. Yeah, so next time you're wandering around a cave and you don't know what your monk is doing, always keep an eye on them because they might be slitting some throats, and always add your proficiency bonus. Alright, thanks guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.